Hello, everybody. Today is December 2nd, and we're doing Business and Robot. It is 2020, but it will not be 2020 for much longer.
It's hard to believe that March just never ended.
Yeah. Have you guys decorated for Christmas yet?
I have decorated for Christmas as much as I plan to, yes.
Oh. I haven't gotten a tree up yet, but I cleaned my apartment over the holiday weekend and put up some of our decor.
I'm planning to use a glass tree this year, but maybe not if I can't find the box that it's in.
A glass tree.
It's like a little glass tabletop tree.
Oh,
Yeah,
a
like the vintage
tiny one.
ones, yeah.
I was going to say that's be impossible to store, wouldn't it?
No, it's not. It's not real big. I mean, it's kind of big, but it's not super big.
But you do have a cat.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen, right?
No, the cat doesn't care about that because it's small and it sits on a table.
Really?
Yeah.
My cats.
The cat cares about real trees a lot.
My cats would care about anything new that can be turned over or otherwise destroyed.
Even when it was a puppy, she didn't care about the tree. I mean, like, she would sniffed it when I pulled it out of the box, but, like...
Yeah.
The cat is so far
Doesn't care otherwise.
not adjusting to the new environment.
Is she in the new house now? Yeah. Whenever I'm around Rue, I get a serious vibe that she hates Christmas.
Rue's indifferent to Christmas as long as she gets treats. And she always gets a bone for Christmas, so...
Well, you know who is going to have a fantastic Christmas, assuming that things follow along the same path that they have been for this entire year? It's Jeff Bezos.
I thought you were going to say the Amazon employees, and I was like, I don't think that's true at all.
No, that's not true at all. I will make another prediction similar to a Jeep Pie. I believe, although those children are quite old at this point, I believe that under the Bezos tree, both an Xbox and a PS5.
Yeah, and probably a BMW.
I don't think he'll have any trouble finding those.
Yeah.
I don't think the shortage will affect him. But the reason we say this is because the numbers of growth are so staggering. In fact, this has never happened before, unless you count World War II, when they were building the tanks. That's the only other time something like this has happened in U.S. history.
Pushed by the horrible thing that's going on right now, Amazon goes on a hiring spree without equal. The company has added 427,300 employees in 10 months, bringing its global workforce to more than 1.2 million. Now, this is not a success story of Amazon. This is a horror story of how many small businesses are closing forever because, like, you know,
they have a monopoly on everything.
Yeah, there's a huge number of people that are unemployed that used to be working in the small cottage industries that are now being filled by, you know, Amazon mail order stuff.
There's another crazy fact that just makes this even more insane. That does not count the quote unquote contract workers. Like the delivery drivers, they're not part of that number.
Oh.
Wow.
Insane. And it's not slowing down. They expect it to keep going.
Yeah, because literally small shops just can't.
There's no other industries, yeah.
They can't function.
You know, the seasonal workers that they bring on just for the holiday, they don't count. Not part of that number. Amazing. Now, the Amazon employees, you would definitely look at that statistic and think to yourself, wow, there's a group of people who probably don't have a lot of bargaining power because it's not always skilled labor. And boy, there seems to be a lot of people who want those jobs, which makes this... now, this has already happened. I heard nothing about it. Did you?
Yeah, I actually looked for follow-ups on this to see what happened. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. That's the problem.
Amazon workers to stage coordinated Black Friday protests in 15 countries, but that did not happen. This is a Motherboard article that details about how workers are trying to get together to make this happen, blah, blah, blah. I think 50% of this is people that have these jobs are probably thankful to have them, which is a very sad thing. Like, for the outlook of humanity, it's very sad.
Thank you for the scraps, Lord Bezos. Thank you so much.
But the other 50% of this is that Amazon is very serious about its operational security and is employing a lot of people to keep the plebs in line.
These are a little bit out of order. We're just going to run with it, though, because that one should have been sorted. You'll see why later on. But, yeah. Now, you say nothing happened. I bet something did happen.
And it just
didn't disrupt anything. Yeah. Like, you can't stop a machine that size.
We're going to go on strike. It's like, all right, striking workers, I would like for you to witness the power of the Model 31A. And the 31A is just, it's like, I will build more if you don't stay in line. It's like, okay, sorry.
And when you get to that behemoth size that Amazon is, you do start to suffer a lot of small problems that smaller companies don't have. And one of those is fake reviews and counterfeits. And Amazon has a really, really big problem with fake reviews and counterfeits. So what are they doing about it? Well, they're trying. I don't have a lot of hope for this.
No. Amazon partners with the U.S. government to stop the sale of counterfeit goods. Operation Fulfilled Action uses Amazon, IPR Center, DHL, and Customs and Border Protection. This is really, like, sort of crazy, though. Because, like, you know, again, I've ordered hundreds of DisplayPort cables off of Amazon over the last year. And Amazon still has a serious counterfeiting problem where you can get a fake DisplayPort cable, and if the fake cable is mostly okay, it's 99% in spec. Would you even know? Most of the time you wouldn't even know unless you're like really pushing it to the max, because most people that buy a DisplayPort cable that is rated for a certain thing are not going to use it at the top end of that. They're going to use it at a lower resolution or a lesser refresh rate or with a crappier monitor, and they'll never know. But I know, because I need the thing that it's completely capable of. But yeah, what's actually going to happen are the people like Louis Rossmann that are doing iPhone repairs. He's going to have all of his refurbished parts coming in from Mexico or China or wherever. That's going to be confiscated, and that was a legit product. And somebody that's like got fake, you know, DisplayPort cables, I have trouble telling the difference between a real and a fake cable. Do you really think Customs and Border Protection can do it? I don't think so.
But Amazon did not make all of its money just by destroying small business. No, they have cloud storage, and they make a lot of money running that to AWS. And it's amazing
That's where they make most of their money.
It's amazing how many websites use that easy button solution.
Yeah.
And you never know unless you go in and look where the connections are being made, or something like what happened this week happens. And all of a sudden you're like, is my internet connection down? No, it's working. But wait, most of the websites I visit aren't working. What's happening? Oh,
Prolonged AWS outage takes down a big chunk of the internet. AWS has been experiencing an outage for hours. So what caused the outage? They added too many servers. Like literally that was actually the problem. They ran out of the number of threads. So like they were adding something to a particular kind of service, and that service on all the machines that are present has one thread for every server present in the thing. They hit the maximum number of threads that an operating system can handle or something like that. And effectively that brought everything to its knees. Took a long time to recover from that.
and when you're a website like that and you're down during a very peak online shopping time, bad news.
See, the crazy thing is that this was only an outage in US East, but this just like Amazon is not built for your automatic redundancy. Like you as a customer still have to DIY your redundancy, because if you had built your website to be like US East and US West redundant, you wouldn't have had an outage. Everything that was in US West was up, but most people don't do that.
Another thing, and again, we'll go back to as you're going through this holiday season and you're sitting there with your family. Again, we're presuming you're going to sit with your family. Maybe not, but just let's fantasize that we get to do that. And you're looking at people just happily unboxing all of these internet-connected devices. You can sit there smugly to yourself. You probably shouldn't say it because it just makes people mad. But you can sit there with the smug satisfaction of knowing that you understand the darkness that they perhaps do not.
People can't vacuum or use the doorbell because Amazon's cloud servers are down. Yeah, Roomba and some of the other, they only built their infrastructure in US East. There was no US West redundancy, and so it was down because US East was down. Do you not understand how to build for the cloud? I don't understand. It's like, to me, like one of the things for having cloud service means that there's somebody else that's on call in case something goes down. But with Amazon, you don't have that because you still have to do that.
Well, they were on call, but it took them a couple hours. So. If you had a really nasty spill that required a vacuum, you just had to stare at it. Or use a regular vacuum. You think there's anybody out there who is just pure Roomba? Like they don't have a backup unit?
No, because the Roomba's not very good at really much of anything.
I bet there's at least one person out there doing that.
My mom wants well, I don't know that she wants one, but she was maybe hinting at wanting one of those doorbells, and I was like, Mom, no. She's like, your uncle has one, and I stopped by his house the other day, and you can like leave a video message. And I was like, yeah, it's recording constantly.
We have
don't do that.
We have a story about those. I think it's in security. that you can send to her.
Yeah. I told her it's a bad idea, and she was like disappointed because I also told her the same thing about Alexa, and she was like, "Aw."
She thinks you're just a Grinch.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That was like 2 years ago. I told her about Alexa, and now she wants the doorbell. And I was like, "Yeah, no, that's Amazon like spying on you." And she's like, "No, your Aunt Jenny didn't buy it at Amazon. She got it at Lowe's." And I was like,
of course.
"Yeah, Mom."
Wow.
So, and again, this was a bad sort. We should have put this with the other one, but you think you'll be able to follow along just fine because this follows the whole thing about what Amazon will do to keep their employees in line because they know they have basically an unlimited supply of fresh bodies to go. This is like Napoleon. Napoleon had a quote where it was like, I spend lives like most people spend money or something like that. That's what Bezos feels like. Like he's just like, hey, listen, this is total war. I do what I want with you people.
Amazon warehouse workers in Alabama filed to hold a unionization vote. The notice was filed with the National Labor Relations Board as warehouse employees globally have raised concerns about having to work during the pandemic.
And that to lead into an amazing in-depth article by Vice. They did a little investigative reporting when it comes to things like unionization at Amazon.
Secret Amazon reports exposed the company's surveillance of labor and environmental groups. This is kind of what I was alluding to in the second story that we did today, because Amazon is like super on top of things like unionization to the extent that they're basically spying on their employees. Like private security hired to follow people and it seems like all cloak and dagger. Vice has some pretty compelling evidence.
Yeah, so apparently if you're an Amazon employee and you post on your social media publicly about any of these interests enough for them to think that you might be an organizer, you get your own very personal Pinkerton who will then follow you around and see what you're up to.
Nice. Isn't that exciting?
What do you think they spend a year total on all that?
Enough.
If you're doing it per employee, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, it's going to be real expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, not every employee is going to get that.
No, but the amount of money that they spent on that versus the money that could go to benefits for all of their other employees is a number I feel like that the other employees would appreciate.
Whatever.
Rapid COVID testing. I mean, like,
Yeah, whatever
all
the number
kinds of
is,
stuff. Health insurance.
it's lower than health insurance for the warehouse.
Yeah. Does Amazon have the 1 hour testing yet? Because that would be pretty cool. It's like you just, you get tested every day and then it's like, oh, within an hour,
It's probably expensive though, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I imagine they probably don't do that. I know a lot of warehouses, non-Amazon ones, are doing like temperature checks and stuff, but that's not nearly as reliable.
Amazon's temperature check is probably like, listen, you're at 97. You can't possibly be working as hard as we need you to.
They want you to be hotter.
Yeah.
You aren't working
Sweating.
hot enough because your oxygenation is too high.
I meant to swap this out for a non-paywall. Financial Times paywall is just so
It's
ugly.
What's the headline? I don't even know what the headline is.
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
But I did read an alternate story. I can't remember what site I went to for the alternate story. And it's in the U.S., but it didn't start in the U.S. It's very convoluted how this is playing out. And Google is trying to say no, and I kind of support them in this.
Yeah.
I think.
Google ordered to hand over emails in £455 million divorce battle. So, divorce is messy?
It's a billionaire or a multimillionaire who's getting a divorce.
Okay.
And so the accusation is he transferred a lot of his wealth to his son to avoid the settlement. So they're like, you got to give this woman hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's like, I don't have it. Check and see. It's not there. And
Father of the Year award to drag your son into the middle of that.
And so she was like, I know it's there and I can prove it, but I need to see the son's email. And it's a Gmail account. And so a European court has said, or maybe it was UK pounds, right?
Yeah.
God, it's so confusing now. Why don't you just get it together, Europe? That court has said, yes, you can look at it. And then they moved the case to California to be in Google's state. But Google's saying, no, we don't have to do that. So I don't know, like, what is this, international law? How does that work?
Seems weird.
We'll see. They have also said that the son has not used that account since he was in high school. So have fun reading his high school Gmail.
Book report for Miss Frizzle's class. Version 1, version 2, version 3. Peer review.
Apple has made several concessions when it comes to the App Store ever since that time when the government was like, maybe the App Store is a monopoly. Weird coincidence, huh? And they have not slowed down. They just keep making more and more because I think they're still afraid.
CNBC reports that Apple has made another concession on the App Store fees. This one sounds like it's a temporary concession, though. This is the one where if you offered classes, like you have an app to go along with in-person classes, and you're not doing the in-person thing because obvious reasons, then Apple wanted a cut of whatever you were doing online. But for now, they're saying, well, because of the global situation and because you might be doing the in-person, you might normally do in-person stuff, but now you do it online, we're not going to charge you if like having membership of this app is part of like what would have normally been an in-person type thing for classes. But effectively that means that if you have an online class or some kind of app like that, you don't have to give Apple a cut.
This is till sometime in 2021, right?
Yep.
So it is more of a moratorium. They are optimistic, should they be, that maybe we'll be going back to normalcy in 2021. I can't find the date. You know what's in the One tab. If this affects you, go look it up in the One tab. Find out what that date is.
I would hate to be an Apple iOS developer because it's like being in a car with a crazy person, and it's like I kind of want to get out, but I kind of also want to get to Disneyland.
But you're in the middle of a desert.
Well, but we know that we're on our way to Disneyland.
But no, that's what I'm saying. If you get out now, you're probably going to die because there's nothing else. Well, there's another car over there, and the car you're in, like they don't let you speak, they don't let you move. You're actually handcuffed. There's another car where everybody's out having a good time, but it's just covered in feces and like used needles.
Oh.
Probably don't want to be in that car either.
Yeah,
but
there's people doing all kinds of drugs, and there's sex going on just in the like in the back seat.
Is that somebody from the Communist Party that's spying on everything that's happening in the other car? What's happening?
So this story, actually, I read a different version of this originally, and
I've read about 3 versions of this, and it gets more fascinating with every version.
But okay, when you look at multiple versions, here's something that I thought was weird. The crime. I think the biggest offender here is the guy working at the government.
Yes.
But the headline never says that.
No.
The headline always goes after the Apple guy.
Yeah.
Now, the Apple guy did wrong.
Well.
But I think that he was just like, oh, that's okay, government corruption. You know what? We have a ton of money, so all right.
Yeah.
But they're throwing it all on him.
Yeah.
What seems wrong?
Apple's security chief maintains innocent after bribery charges. The sheriff's office allegedly sought 200 iPads in trade for concealed carry permits. If anything, if you look at the stuff here, the guy from Apple, and I will be the last person to defend Apple, but it seems like the guy from Apple is a victim because how the sheriff's office operates, literally, not just this case, this is not the first case like this against that sheriff's office, which is really fascinating. But it seemed to be that if you want a concealed carry permit, which is at the discretion of the sheriff's office, that there had to be some kind of quid pro quo. And there are other cases to that effect. But this just seems like Apple was saying, all right, you know what, we can just arrange a donation, and if we get some concealed carry permits out of that, great.
And of course, this is for the Apple security team. So you have that big campus, and you need security, and those security might need guns. And so California, basically communist, doesn't like that. There's an interesting thing about concealed carry. Based on which state you're in, it's a can issue or shall issue. If it's a can issue, the sheriff doesn't like you, he can or he cannot. If it's a shall issue, they have to give it to you if you pass all the requirements. California, I imagine, is not required at all.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, I got that application, but I can't find it. God, if only I had like a device I could keep track of all this.
Yeah. Which again would make the Apple security guy a victim.
Yeah.
Is that the difference between a victim and not being a victim? Is literally like if you like if I was getting shaken down like that, being the naive person that I am, I might reply with something like, "This seems like a shakedown. Is this actually a shakedown?" And then, they would either not reply to that or just be like, "Oh no, it's totally not a shakedown. We just, we just need some iPads to do some stuff better." And it's like, "All right, here's your iPads."
And I think the reason that they colored it the way that they did is because if you look at it from the other angle just a little bit, you realize that gun control got corrupted and very possibly put guns in the wrong hands.
Only people that can afford to buy iPads will have guns.
Well, I mean, not even that. I mean, you had to have the Apple connection, right? Because this guy was doing it on behalf of his team. So it was like, oh, those common sense gun controls that we put in place, yeah, they have an Achilles heel. It's called humanity. And that's a disgusting story, but not as disgusting as this one. This is probably the least exciting story. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Comcast customers. Ringing in the new year. Look forward to this.
Comcast is going to enforce a 1.2 terabyte data cap in the entire 39 state territory in early 2021. I've been benchmarking video cards. You want to guess how big my Steam library to download is? 4.7 terabytes.
That's going to cost you. It maxes out at $100 over. So whatever your price is plus 100.
So our prediction is true, which is basically right now American homes are paying about $200 a month for cable and TV. Everybody is abandoning TV in droves because it's not worth it. Ergo, your internet connection is going to cost about $200 a month.
Now you could go ahead and sign up for the top tier platinum plans. You don't have to worry about this. But you are paying maybe a little bit less than that extra 100 every month, whether you might not use it some months.
It's going to be $200 a month in no time. Like that's the price that it's going to in America because capitalism.
And we ignore the fact that, like you say, well, forget your Steam library. How about the game streaming that's coming? Stadia.
Oh, yeah.
I tried out Luna.
How was that?
A little bit of a delay lag. The weirdest thing about it is they seem to have curated the library to be all like Twitch fast games.
Oh, you should try it here at the office because I have heard from some networking friends, this might be a good video that we can do because we might be able to catch them with their hand in the cookie jar. But I've heard that some of the ISPs want in on this and they may be jacking with the latency. So the outage that you had from the you remember how you didn't have any upload capacity
every
or whatever?
Sunday.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That may have been the result of the installation of some traffic shaping equipment. So you should try it here at the office. And if you don't have, if the latency is not terrible and it's actually playable, it's probably not the network. It's probably them messing with the latency.
Well, I don't want to say it's not playable because it's totally playable. But I was playing, like I said, their games are geared toward fast reaction arcade style. And it's like, why don't you put RimWorld in here? It's not going to matter.
Architect. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a game I can play where it doesn't matter. But they seem to be, But one thing I do love about it, and maybe we should do a video about this, is zero commitment. Just try. I've never heard of this game. Just press the button and try.
You're there.
Yeah, I love that.
That's nice.
If they kept it at $5 a month or $6 or whatever it is, I might keep it just for that. And then if I really like the game, I go buy it somewhere else, so I don't have to have the latency.
In doing some of the game benchmarking, I was super annoyed by on modern games, you start it and you have to sit through a minute of just nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just
And
this is
all
crazy.
that redistributable stuff. It's don't want to. I don't really even care that much about this game. I just want to try it real quick. And I think out of 4 games that I tried, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in this. But now I know.
The thing that's crappy about the story, to kind of get back a little bit, we're talking about gaming and how this will really suck for people who are streaming or stuff like that. But what about all the kids who are having to go virtual for school right now, or people like us who work from home?
Yeah.
But also, has Netflix gone 4K yet?
Yeah. That is a tiny. They're oh, it's this much of HD streaming. That's 720p with the Cheerios crunchiness level of compression, and it's bad. It's super bad.
It's 2-channel audio.
Yeah.
A Nature Valley granola bar crunchy level.
Yeah, it's
so
my household is floating at about 3 terabytes a month, and we're not even doing anything exotic.
And that's, I mean, you're not the average. None of us are the average. But
None of the people watching are the average either.
But that average is going to come up so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Xbox is rolling out their cloud gaming thing.
100 gigs a game.
Is that the average download for the new Xbox?
Yeah, like the Call of Duty games are all like, I think it was a Call of Duty game was like 180 gig.
Wow. So, if you have to replace your hard drive on your PS5, that's going to be $100. Just set aside an extra 100. Now, Amazon, killing it, as we said, hiring a bunch of people. You know who's not hiring a bunch of people?
IBM. IBM is planning to shed about 10,000 people in Europe ahead of a unit sale. So, Merry Christmas to those 10,000 employees. Sorry.
Quick rearrange here.
Disney's doing the same thing, I think. I mean, that's not tech related, but I saw they were also doing major layoffs.
I read
before Christmas.
I read that story and I thought, how is that ageism lawsuit going for IBM? Because the last time we checked in on that, it was not going well for IBM at all.
Maybe they're trying to pad the numbers by just firing everybody.
Yeah, it seems like in the lawsuit they uncovered some emails that were literally like, we need to get rid of all these old folks. It's like, ooh, can't put that in an email.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to businesses who are winning and losing, you can't ignore Tesla, because they had a rough road. If you remember, 2019 was a year of controversy for Mr. Musk.
Yeah.
But 2020, while the rest of the world has suffered, he has only won.
Yeah. Tesla is now worth $500 billion because people like the headline for me would have been Tesla is now worth $500 billion because the stock market is insane and we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, the stock market's been insane for 3 decades. And that has led to
Elon Musk is the world's second most wealthy. He's overtaken Bill Gates to be the second richest person in the world.
Yep. Now, to be fair, Bill Gates has given away $27 billion.
I think Bill Gates' money is also like in the bank, and that wealth valuation is tied to a lot of Tesla stock.
It is almost completely Tesla stock. I think $100 billion of it is Tesla stock.
Yeah, so that doesn't really does that really even count? I mean, come on.
This is still so much money, though. Like, I can't even fathom that much wealth.
Did you see? I know I sent it to Krista, but his girlfriend, his baby mama, got what? It was 90,000. Krista?
Oh yeah, the Canadian
it was
artist.
an art grant from Canada.
Canada. Did you not Google that before you gave out the money? I mean, come on.
Can you imagine being a struggling artist and it's like, you know what, I'm going to apply for this and I hope I get a little bit of extra money for this project, and then finding out she was the one who was awarded some of that money.
But she is also a millionaire. I mean, she's a successful musician.
Yeah, like even without her relationship to Musk, like, does she really need the money to continue to produce art? I don't think so.
Let's assume that all of a sudden Musk hated her for whatever reason and ejected her from his life. Child support is weighted based on your income, right?
Yeah.
So she's gonna get like $10 million a month.
Yeah.
But she's apparently made a statement. She was like, "Listen, I don't depend on him for the care of this child or myself. I'm an independent woman." It's like, well, okay, but considering the situation that the world is in, maybe you just rely on him a little bit so someone else can get that emergency money.
You said it yourself. If she's a millionaire, does she need another $90,000?
It doesn't seem
to produce
like
artwork. Like, she's already got everything she needs. Like, give that to someone else.
Krista, how is she going to keep all 5 pools heated if she doesn't get that 90,000?
Like I said, there's some artist in Canada who's like, they're living in a little tiny studio apartment, like a shack, trying to keep their hands warm and also paint.
They're rationing out little shot glasses of maple syrup just to stay alive.
Someday it's going to be fun.
Milk.
Like with Level 1, we're gonna encounter a story like that, and it's like, all right, let's figure out who the runners up to that were, and call them up and be like, you got the Level 1 art scholarship for $5,000. It's not as good as the $90,000, but show us what you got, and it's just gonna be amazing.
And the Tesla train does not have to stop because he is not sitting on his laurels, although Consumer Reports did kind of rag on his cars. But he has a new plan for a new car. And I don't know if this is actual design footage of it or a design mock-up, but good God, is this ugly.
Elon Musk talks new Tesla model to be designed in Europe, likely a small electric hatchback. That's aimed at the European market because that's popular in Europe, I guess.
Germany. And it's going to be German designers brought on board to help design it, not just something he came up with and injected into the country.
But they're not manufacturing it in Germany, correct?
I think, yeah, they're looking to open up a
Where are they?
gigafactory in Berlin. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, it's better than, just being like, we hired some designers here. It was designed here, but we sent it overseas to be actually manufactured.
There's probably like some import stuff there, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some stuff. Some German engineering stuff is really amazing. I used to follow some machinist channels, and they outsourced production of some of their widgets to China and some of the widgets to Germany with the same specs and stuff. And they were showing off the ones that came back from Germany, and it was just amazing, like the tolerances. And it's like, wow, the machinists in Germany really know how to do a good job. They cost more, but this is an amazing stuff. They had like a ball bearing that they had built, and they just gave it a spin, and it just spin and spin and spin and spin. And the one from China only spun for about 5 seconds before it wound down.
I was reading about in World War II, that was true even then. But what most people saw as this like perfect IBM driven machine was actually a bunch of wildcard engineers doing amazing work, but with no standards. So like a tank would break down and they'd be like, I have no idea where we're going to get this spindle. He made it himself.
Wow. That's incredible. I like the thing about the Singer handguns, because one of my family used to have a Singer handgun, because they did a trial run of Singer handguns, and they were like, these are made too well. We need you to make radar parts. You don't need to be making handguns.
Well, Musk's other business that seems to be doing quite well is, of course, the satellite internet. We're all waiting to get that, maybe. Krista, how about the house hunt? You got any updates on that?
There was one we liked that was pretty far out. It had internet, but I mean, like, it was like a good 20-minute drive at least. And so it was like, I don't know if we want to live that far. I don't know. It's almost like there was a holiday over the weekend too, so like they didn't post a lot of houses. And I was disappointed by that.
That was their mistake. But not to be or hopefully to prevent that from being a monopoly that starts charging us data overages. Oh, that article did cover right now no Starlink overage fee. But can we count on that forever?
Probably not.
So it's good to have competition. This company, a bit of a checkered past.
Yeah.
They did not make the best decisions, but they say everything's changed now. They got some new partners, the new management. It's going to be good.
OneWeb exits bankruptcy and is ready to launch more broadband satellites. OneWeb plans satellite launches in December through 2021 and 2022. So they've got new ownership now, basically.
The UK government is involved at this point.
Yeah, so I don't know. It remains to be seen if this is going to be good.
It's the UK government, and there was another big company involved here. But it's the same plan. Now they're going to do. It's similar to Starlink, where it's like the upper stuff first. So they're actually going to cover the Arctic. I guess there's money there, right?
Yeah, Arctic research stations can pay a lot for internet access.
Yeah. And then they're going to move down into the European mainland, and from there they want to go global. So we'll see. December 17th. How exciting if you're in the Arctic for the winter over.
That's just around the corner. That seems like an awfully fast timeline to exit bankruptcy and also be launching things into space.
What? You think they'll have to use Starlink to get up there? Or, not Starlink, but SpaceX?
SpaceX, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be a shame if something happened to your satellites on the way up.
Oh, we have a 100% success rate unless your stuff's on board. Weird. It's weird how that happens. Now, we have talked a lot about cars and technology in cars and the creeping surveillance that is coming. And to be fair, it's here. We're being surveilled in our cars. You don't always know it. Now, in the case of something like Tesla, you do, because it's, they advertise it. But every car company is doing it. General Motors is certainly on that bandwagon. And now they're saying kind of the thing that we've always talked about, like your social credit score, like your driving score. OnStar does this. I've witnessed it because I have an OnStar account, and I was like, wait, what is my driver's score?
It was not good.
It's 80. Too many accelerations, they say. And so
the man is oppressing me.
And so they're saying, you know what? Well, let's just cut out the middleman.
General Motors launches OnStar Insurance Services. It's going to use all that surveillance data of watching you drive to, give you a rate, and yours is not going to be good.
It's already not. Although I have a clean driving record.
You have a clean driving record, yes, but this thing is like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I saw that 80 and I was like, that's garbage. What are you holding against me? I'm a courteous driver. Yeah, it was hard acceleration and hard braking. They don't care for it.
You gotta go fast. It's like Sonic. Gotta go fast.
You only buy cars that are really good at both of those things.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we're going to sell you this 6.2 liter engine, but don't drive it fast. This one's boring, but it shows that more and more our tech world just consolidates and becomes giant evil entities.
Salesforce has reportedly held talks to buy office messaging app Slack. Slack, the new chat communication thing that's just like IRC, except with GIFs.
I don't actually know anybody who uses Slack.
Yeah, I guess, we switched to Teams. We used Slack on some other side projects there for a while. We were working with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true. I never really saw the appeal, but
I miss IRC. It was a simpler time.
Back when hashtags meant something else. Nintendo, they have their big Mario Kart thing out for the holiday season. I think those are perpetually sold out, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
And one thing that Nintendo is traditionally very unhappy about is copyright and piracy type stuff. And we saw not long ago Team Executor, who they actually got some guys put in jail.
Yeah.
But that was not enough for them.
Nintendo sues more hack sellers, a worsening international problem. Another lawsuit filed in Seattle court. Oh, I meant to add, there was another Nintendo story. Nintendo is really cracking down. Also on streaming. They took down a ton of people on Twitch because there were some people that lived in Japan, and something was released in Japan a little early. And so people on Twitch that lived in Japan were streaming the game. And Nintendo was like, nope, strike. Not allowed to do that. They also, did you see the Smash Brothers Melee thing? The mod that lets you play multiplayer over the internet, and Nintendo's shutting all of that down. So there's Twitch competitions and a big tournament and stuff. And Nintendo's like, nope, you have to use a pirated copy of the game to do that. Even though most of the competition players always have their physical copy with them, but you have to mod the game in order for it to work over the internet. And Nintendo is just not having any of it.
Are we talking about the Switch version? The Switch version has online, right?
No, it's Smash Brothers Melee from 20 years ago.
Oh, the 64 version.
Yeah.
Oh, people are still playing that?
Yeah.
That was a good version, I guess.
It could have been its own esports thing, but Nintendo just took a giant dump all over all that. I think the only solution is to boycott Nintendo. They literally don't understand.
The 64, did that even have an online?
No. It's a mod. There's this whole community of people that, culturally the 64 version was very important to them, and Nintendo is like, no.
Is it emulated?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah, yeah. But
even though they are currently not manufacturing or selling either Nintendo 64s or Smash Brother carts.
Yeah. It's the letter from Nintendo read the lawyers were wearing a bomb vest, and it's the lawyers are making us do this. We're sorry, we have to do this. And it's you're telling me that a bunch of C-suite executives are being held hostage by a lawyer wearing a bomb vest? Because that's what it sounds like when I'm reading this letter, and I don't think that's really true.
I've seen a lot of storylines from Nintendo games. I bet Bowser's behind this. Sounds like the kind of thing he would do.
Nintendo is so clueless. The only thing to do is to just ignore them and hope that they go away.
Didn't they hire a guy named Bowser to run
something?
So I guess Bowser is behind this. Well, Nintendo, they might not want you playing online, but you know who does? Microsoft. And they're looking to... What's interesting, because as they release their next-gen platform, they're also talking about removing the necessity of it.
Microsoft hints at turning Xbox into an app for your TV. You should be able to stream Xbox games to your TV soon. This is something that I suggested when the Surface, remember the Surface Pro, when it first launched? It was like, why don't we have a Microsoft App Store app that just streams from your Xbox? We should have that immediately. We didn't. Not immediately.
Yeah, I tried Luna on the Surface with a controller. That's fine. But my Surface, the battery, I have to keep it plugged in to do something like that.
Oh, I've got a lot of practice replacing the battery if you want to give that a shot on those.
Yeah, if it ever gets to the point where, it's basically just a bedside item at this point. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a new one someday. This was a terrible Financial Times paywall again, and then when I looked up an alternate source, it wasn't very exciting.
Nope.
It's kind of a press release.
It was a press release.
Type of thing. Whatever we'll say.
Rip.
Dyson pledges new investment into AI, robotics, and batteries. Now, the one thing that is exciting here with the Dyson pledge about the batteries is that the battery technology is not based on lithium. That is the most exciting thing.
And they are ready to break out of making vacuums, but we're not sure exactly what they're making other than the batteries. But they're excited about it.
Yeah. If the battery technology is good and has the energy density that they say, then it will be good.
China has previously announced an ambitious new space program, and finally, we will get to see this little robot go off and attempt to do his thing.
China launches an ambitious mission to land on the moon and return samples to Earth. It's going to bring 4 pounds of material back from the moon. That does seem ambitious.
How many does the one or how much the Japanese one that got the asteroid? Do you think that one had like 3.8 pounds? China was like, we're getting 4.
I don't know. Getting material from the asteroid is even more impressive because that's just off in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that is a more impressive thing. But hey, moon rocks are valuable, right?
Yeah.
What's an ounce of moon rock?
Very expensive. Technically, it's all owned by NASA. So there were some astronauts that took some with them and they died, and NASA has shown up to collect them from the estate. They're like, you can't sell that. We own that.
What if China's going to flood the market? Chinese moon rocks.
You make it sound like a drug. Like, you got that Chinese moon rock?
Krista, it's so funny that you say that. Because moon rock is a kind of drug.
Is it?
And
what is it? What is it? What does it do?
Well, why is it so funny that you would ask?
Is it pot?
It is pot.
Oh.
It's a fancy kind, but the comments will be happy to tell you.
Yeah, there's going to be like long comments this week about that.
Hey, as long as we get that engagement, that's all that matters.
Hot engagement challenge.
Well, engagement being all that matters might not be the case when it comes to Alexa. Because Alexa is getting a kind of engagement that Jeff Bezos probably isn't too happy about.
Amazon's Alexa spouts anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, it says a British MP. So Amazon, they are asking questions, and Alexa found the answers on websites. It turns out those websites are anti-Semitic.
Now, some of them, it was kind of like, is Israel responsible for war crimes? And I would say, yeah, most Western countries are responsible for war crimes. But then they got a little muddier when it was like, did the Jews control the media? Alexa answered in the affirmative for that.
Would you like a demonstration? Hey, Alexa, do Jewish people control the media? Oh, they've already fixed it.
And so it's like, here's something I found from the article Jew Watch.
They get more and more absurd the longer you read. Like in this article, I was like, well, that's pretty bad. Oh, that's awful. Oh, no. Like,
yeah.
The swindlers of Zion.
Like, geez. Alexa.
Maybe some keyword flagging in the Alexa results.
There's probably keyword flagging in our monetization at this point. No,
that's true. We probably lost our monetization for that. But I think the people are making a little bit too much out of this because Alexa really is just like trying to find something online.
Yeah.
And that's a topic that has a wealth of online posted information, whether it's accurate or not.
Although, to be fair, though, well, I mean, if you ask Alexa, it's like, hey, Alexa, what's going on with the White House? It's not going to give you the information on whitehouse.com. It's going to give you information about whitehouse.gov.
Yeah.
You think whitehouse.com has a lot of long articles that it can glean from text?
There are no long articles on whitehouse.com.
All right. That's all we've got.
What do we got for Friday?
Nonsense and whatever we didn't do yet. Security.
Nonsense and security. Well, what you can buy the time from now until then by checking out that Linode link in the description below. And if you haven't already started on your Devember project, you need to. There's a lot of really good projects there. Have we got the Minecraft server up?
The server is up. We were doing some last tests, but it'll probably be ready to announce the IP very soon.
The thread is in the description below.
We haven't talked about that at all. Do we want to announce it here?
Yeah, we can. Why not?
Krista.
Well, I mean, have we talked about it at all, or like I thought we kind of teased it already.
We teased it a little.
Yeah, it's kind of up to you. We haven't decided. We need to decide what we're going to give away.
Yeah. Well,
it's a surprise.
Yeah, we're doing a Minecraft server and
some
doing
random crap that's laying around. Sorry.
For the month of December, or the majority of December, maybe not like the first day, but probably the third or fourth and on. And it's going to be a Minecraft server. Now, Krista, you have not. Why don't you just give us like 5 bullet points, or ever how many you feel you need, of what you're looking for in terms of how people can win these random prizes we haven't announced yet.
Okay. Well, we talked about this a little bit on Twitch. I like just about any kind of build. I like ones that work with the environment.
Well, yeah, I think you're getting ahead of yourself here. They need to build a structure.
Yes, it's a building contest. You can build whatever you want. I don't know. Just be creative. Do what you feel. Make it pop, which is not good advice if you work in the creative.
You know what you should say here, Krista? I'll know it when I see it.
I'll
murder you all.
I like stuff that works with the environment instead of just completely like flattening a whole section. If you can work with like the natural build materials of the biome you're in, I think that's cool. Hidden bases that like you have to do some kind of like cool redstone trickery to get into, also cool. I don't know. The limit is your imagination. So
we have we have an anti-griefing mod on there, and so if you don't know how all that works, I'm sure somebody on the forum will help you. Go in there. You get more space to build the longer you spend on the server.
Right.
So don't get discouraged if you're like, what am I going to do with a 9x9 section? Well, just, the more you play, the more stuff you do, the more area you get. And build something cool. Maybe you win. That would probably be some kind of piece of hardware, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something we mail you. It could also be coupons for stuff on the store.
That'd probably be like a third or fourth prize.
Yeah.
You're going to get something physical for that number 1 slot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And something pretty decent. Not a 3080 or any modern GPU.
You know, she's fighting me on it, but I'm lobbying for a little bit of Krista bathwater.
For what?
Nothing.
You cut out. I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't say anything.
Krista, what were you gonna say?
Krista, why don't you give us an involuntary e-girl goodbye?
Oh no. Re-girl. That's what I am. I'm a re-girl. It's a different kind of thing.
Well, it's the calendar, the Girls on the Spectrum calendar.
Yeah, we should do a level 1 calendar one year. I'll still put that out there.
All right. See you Friday.